I'm very happy to be part of this project that in our case started when I contacted Lund University in 2016. We then got an application to start building a dam in 17. We started in 18, and then it took time before it worked. And so by 2021 was the first year we could use the dam. And we have built a dam with a capacity of about 100,000 cubic meter. That means that it's that's 100 millimeters for 100 hectares of irrigation water. The dam is about 5 hectares big in size, including land around it. This is very quickly, I don't think you should say funded by the European Union. I think you should say sponsored by the European Union and various banks, but we can leave that. Just for you, so you know where you are, in case you want to bicycle home or something, we're at Gårdstånga. It's 10 kilometers north of Lund. Lund is a university town and it's old. This is the farm that we manage, and this is literally how my EU application looks every year. I have to plot in every land and what I use it for. I hope none of you are colorblind, because all these spots down here by the river, they are what is known as non-productive land, non-productive farmland. This might be wheat, sugar beet, rapeseed, etc., etc. Sweden is a big country. We're number 4 in Europe. We have 41,000 hectares of forest, almost 3 million hectares of farmland. Sweden is a forest country. It's a privileged, sponsored industry, and agriculture is non-important. In France, and I want to move to France, 80 million hectares are farmed, and the country is self-sustainable on all kinds of food. We are not. Gårdstånga. Gårdstånga, the name Gård means farm, so I have 2 farms in my farm name, Gårdstånga Nygård. But when I took over in 2011, we had a 4-year crop rotation, and it's very standard here in the south. We would have winter wheat, rapeseed, we would have rapeseed, winter wheat, sugar beet, something planted in the spring after sugar beet, oat, spring wheat, or barley, and then back to winter wheat. But we have extended it to 5 year, and that is my way of starting to respond to changing climate. And I think that actually we should be 6 years. We're probably going there. And I know that the people at the Pussendorf Institute in Lund, I met a geologist and said, it takes 20,000 years before we can actually say that we have a change in climate. I don't have that time to wait, so I needed to respond earlier, and which is also the reason why we built the dam. This is my lab assistant. She's a golden retriever. I love the dog. She's fantastic. She belongs to my daughter. And this is actually the test site that we're going out to on the other side of the motorway. And the dam there is about 4.5 hectares of water, or 4 hectares of water. This is the test site where we have tested various things. One came from Hungary. It was a product called a water retainer. We had huge difficulties with the water retainer, and the biggest difficulty with water retainer was that it was so dry in Hungary that I got 0 crop. And 0 crop doesn't feed many people. That is actually might become a problem at one point. We managed to get a crop, but I have to admit, I'm not a student at university because I didn't have the grades. I'm a farmer, so I am learning how to be a farmer with a test site where we can actually do laboratory testing. This year, and imagine that this is the water dam down here. We will irrigate these 2 parts here, and the two plots here, we will give 100 millimeters of water. The 2 tops, we will give 50 millimeters of water, and the ones over there will be non-irrigated. They will get the rainfall, but they will not be the added plus. We will then, at my own cost, but yes, because I'm stupid, we're going to test water retainer one more time, because we just want to see, because the results were so bad, or they were not bad, they didn't tell us anything. So I just want to give it one more chance and see, does it say anything? And we will also use a young Spanish couple in Lund, and so we will have on 8 plots of these parts, we will have, it's called Agrodit, we will have sensors that are about 1/2 meter deep, and these sensors will tell us the humidity in the soil. Yeah, I normally send this picture to my wife and kids and say, every now and then I do work as well. So we do work. We work a lot, actually. And I promised myself when I turn 65, I will go down to full time. Maybe. I love working on the other hand. I think it's been very interesting. And my hope with this project, with WATERAGRI, is that actually that we continue. We get more projects. We want to test more things. And do I have 1 more minute, or how many more minutes do I have? Okay, I have 2 more minutes. Thank you. 3, maybe. One of the things that I really was impressed me when I saw it was the team in Bologna and their solution how to take care of drainage water. So last year in the autumn, I decided, and I hope there are no environmental politicians here, because the motorway here is new. It was established in 1985. The road up to, it used to go next to our farm, so the road up to the farm, that is the old highway. That is 1,000 years old, that road, but they moved it, and good for that. But it's a new way, and I took soil samples along the motorway, and you don't want to know what we found in those soil samples. It was some really nasty stuff. I always thought that what I would find were residues of tires, which we did find, residues of the spike on the tires, which we did find, asphalt. But what we really found was a lot of unfinished, unburned fuel. Big particles, and that is a nasty thing, and that goes into the food production system. So my idea, and I will talk to Rolf and Sebastian, is we will find a way of maybe making sure that it doesn't come, we build a wall, a Donald Trump wall, on one side of the motorway, seclude the irrigation water from the motorway, because now it's connected to the drainage of our farm. Instead, seclude it and then take it down a ditch, down to the river. But before the river, we have today a dam that stops the nitrogen and the phosphorus. But we will build another dam inspired by the team of Bologna in a small ditch that goes back and forwards, slows down. Martin will have our discussions with me later, I hope, that this is the wrong way to construct it. And then Francesco and his team will say it's the right way to do it. And then we'll do it one way or the other. And that is literally what I'm hoping that we get out of WATERAGRI, is that we'll get more things for the future, because we can solve it. I mean, we are humans, so we are here to solve problems. We create them first, and then we solve them. And I honestly, we can solve this, but we have to work on solving it. So that is really my ambition and my hope for this. So I must say, it's been fantastic knowing you. We started here 4.5 years ago, something. My wife was away, and my then 10-year-old daughter was the host, and she harassed the professor that was then part of the team. He's no longer part of the team. He's moved to England, and that's his choice. And I just want to say, if you have any question, please don't ask them, because I don't know how to respond to them. But no, please ask them. And I think this is the beginning of a discussion. It's not the end of the discussion, and we will really continue having this discussion. I hope there is one way or the other that we can continue having the WATERAGRI network, and we throw things at each other when we play games or when we study something. Thank you very much.
Question? Yeah.
Hi, thank you for your very energetic presentation. I'm just curious, as I understood, there's a wall or a dam or something. Maybe I'll understand better later.
Okay.
So you took soil samples at some place near the road, which you talk about.
Yes.
I'm very curious if you took soil samples in the so-called protected area.
No.
Or where you are actually growing the food.
Okay.
To see how the layers are there.
Okay.
Yeah.
When we grow organic farming, when we have organic farming for food production, we are not allowed to grow food 25 meters close to a road that has more than 3,000 cars daily turnover, whatever the number is. Out here is 10,000, so it's 3 times as big. So that was woken me up. I've grown organic, I've grown conventional. I try to do it on conservational agricultural principles, but that's something else. We can discuss that at another time. Now, so because of the Organic Farmers Association's wish that we don't grow food close to big roads, that's what I said. What is it that they know? I called them and asked, and they said, oh, we just don't like it. Right. So that's why I took the soil samples, because I just literally want to know, is there anything? And when we take soil samples all over the field, and we have to take, by law, EU law, every 10 years I need to take soil samples on every hectare. I take 3 samples. I bought some machine from Germany. I've taken a lot of soil samples. I have a lot of data. And then it proved that the data from Germany was not trustworthy. But anyhow, but along the motorway, we found some really nasty things. And I want to make sure. So my idea is to build some kind of wall along one side of the motorway, because I have the advantage. I own both sides of the motorway. So on one side of the wall, build a wall, make sure that there's nothing from the road that contaminates my side, one side of the field, but the other side, where also my brother lives, by the way, that side of the road we continue to contaminate. Because I don't know if we contaminate it, okay? So we will have one clean side and one not clean side. I mean, I love my brother, but I mean, not that much, obviously. So, but and the thing is, I mean, I can't remember who I spoke to about it yesterday. The nice thing is that new modern technology is becoming cheap. You know, we can actually afford to have 20 sensors on a 2-kilometer road, and literally, yes, you know. So it's my mum. She always calls her the tunnel day. So I love her too. No, but I think that, you know, and I mean, we now have, and I'll show you, next to the dam, we have a small weather station. It's online. I have temperature, UV, irrigation. I have a lot of data coming all the time, and because it's affordable. It's extremely helpful to me as a farmer, but as a scientist as well. You know, when we started this, we had a young girl who came and she took water samples after the dam in the little stream that's behind the irrigation dam. Well, the problem was, in the first time she fell down, we rescued her. We can't have that. I mean, I can't have a bunch of dead scientists lying in a pond. Huh? So what did we do? Where's Linus? Linus set down a water stick into the pond that measures all the time. And now I met another smart Chinese person living in Lund. She has a company called Aqua Amor or something. She has developed a water sensor that doesn't take water samples. It tests the difference in water. So if there's a big difference in water, she gets a signal. And then you go out and take the water sample. Very clever way of doing it. But, you know, we can have all these things. We can get the data because I don't know. I have an idea that the road pollutes the field, but I don't know. I need to verify it, quantify it, and then I'm going to go after the road company and say, hi guys, you owe me some money. I'm going to be profitable. Any questions? Or anyone from Trafikverket?
Well, in that very interesting note, let me also kind of, again, try to compile in an agriculture sector or like the food sector or related stuff. We have 3 major segments, science, and then you have policy, but then something which is very interesting and for larger scalability of any solutions, and you as a farming representative of the farming community, is the economics of agriculture. Yeah. And in the economics of agriculture, the government policies are more or less in a flux between incentives and subsidies. So I'd like to hear from you as a practitioner of the actual system. How do you see both these systems benefiting or not benefiting your production and your sort of efficiency and economics of your production, the incentives and subsidies? Or do you have experience with that?
Yes. We have turnover here, anything between 2 and 3 million euros on an annual basis. 22, we had 3 million euros in turnover. It was our best year ever. 23 was not our best year; it was our worst year ever. And the subsidies, I think it's, in a way, it's a drug, and it's also in a way it's humiliating. I don't want to have actually don't want to have any incentive. I don't want to have any money from anyone. I want to be profitable. I want to run a profitable company. And, you know, we're very good, you know, but all the farmers in Europe are very good, and they're fighting very hard. And I think it's only actually in Switzerland where you know, people are proud of buying Swiss products. In Sweden, we are proud of buying cheap products. We think it's fantastic. Oh, you know, I can buy pork fillet for €5 a kilo, but you know, it costs €7 a kilo to produce it even in Denmark. How can I sell it here for 5? I don't want to have the subsidies. You know, they should be gone because I want to just be profitable. And I want to take part of my profit, and I'm doing maybe slightly more than average farmer, but I want to take part of my profit and sponsor into my R&D budget. Because all the big successful companies, anything from Novartis to Volvo to whatever, that's what they do. They spend money and they do research. And I'm really happy that I realized that, you know, I'm neighbor to a big university. I mean, we have a location as an advantage. But I mean, we have all this. So to answer your question, no, I want to get rid of any kind of payments because I want to grow something that is profitable, and I want people to buy it and say good or bad.
Yeah, that's interesting. There's a transition shift from subsidies to incentives, and this still been undefined. But incentives is a better reward system than...
No, because incentives are very dangerous.
Tell me more.
No, because, I mean, if someone tells me, oh, you know, there might come a government policy in one region or one area or one country, oh, you know, they want us to grow oat. Okay? Or you know, there will be an incentive, don't plow or don't do this. I don't want to really have the incentives either, because I think that in the big scheme of it, maybe someone might call it libertarian. I mean, in the big scheme of it, actually the clients, the customers, they should drive what we should grow. We should have very strong government health controls and environmental controls, because otherwise I can do some really nasty things in my fields. But I want to have that, if that's then the policy of the government, saying, you know, guys, we have to look after the environment, we have to look after the water, and be careful with what we're using, but then produce something for customers, and they will buy what we grow. And I think the biggest example of that is New Zealand, because New Zealand, they took away all the subsidies and all the incentives about 20 years ago. Sure, 20% of the farmers went bust the first 2 years. But what came afterwards? And afterwards was much, much better.
Yeah,
and I don't want to go bust.
It's an interesting point. I take your message. The science
correct me. It's not a message. This is a discussion, and I don't have a view. I just discussion.
I take your insights.
Thanks.
But the School of Behavioral Science, or the Scholarship of Behavioral Science across the world, has shown that 95% people at all stakeholder levels do not react or do not buy in anything unless there is a sort of an incentive or there's some kind of a structure in mind that I'll be benefited. The plastic story is one such example, being there with us for decades. But I take your insight and I'll mull over it.
Thank you.
We'll have one more question and we need to move on with the agenda.
Okay.
Yes.
We're having lunch, so don't worry.
I have been following the results of water retainer at the Hungarian test site.
Yeah.
And we saw the devastating results when we have no rain. So it's very nice that you will do a test with irrigation. But we also saw that the economic results for the farmer depend on the type of crop that was cultivated. So I just wonder, what kind of crop will you test?
Okay, so in regards to water retaining, one thing we learned was that you need to spray the product literally at the time of planting. Ideally, the same day, but after having planted or saw the crop. We made that mistake one time, and we saw that you're not supposed to spray it on leaves. You want to have it in the soil before on the soil, and it's according to water retaining, it does a hydrological effect to the soil. which and I'm not here to prove that. We tested last year and sprayed it on spring barley. On oat. We had on oat last year. We sprayed it and we irrigated it, and we saw a marginal positive effect on the oat, and we just saw the quantity of the harvest. We didn't do any I did measurements, but they were not statistically proven. But I could say it was significant by 3, 4, maybe 5, 6%, maybe something, I can't remember the number, higher yield on the highest irrigation combined with water retainer. And I always thought that water retainer would give me the highest yield when I saw no irrigation. And in the non-irrigated parts, in the non-irrigated parts, we saw no change between water retainer and not. And that also fed my curiosity. But I wish I had a picture. The guy who sells the stuff, a guy called Peter Kiss in Sweden, he's Hungarian. He speaks perfect Swedish, so you might think he's Swedish when you speak to him. I did that for a long time. But we needed to put out the water retainer the day after we had sown last year. In the end, I got Peter walking around the fields with 2, what do you call it, vattenkanna. So he was walking around the fields like this because we had to get it out by hand. And we measured it with small measurement parts. But because I had that result, not scientifically proven, that is why I want to continue to test the product, because I want to give him or them one more chance. I know that Philip can see no significance in his test sites. I know that the Hungarian site died 1 year, and so we have had a lot of sort of unfortunate events, and I hope that we will have spring soon. We can plant the field and then get it going like a normal year, and then I'll have a result for you.
Thank you very much, Gustaf.
Thank you.